Welcome to Cars in Korea. I introduce newly released Genesis Hyundai and Kia cars. And as you saw from today's thumbnail, I have 2025 Hyundai Tucson facelift and 2024 Kia Sportage. They are the same brother-sister car from Hyundai Motor Group family, and both of the cars actually do take up a huge pie of the global sales. Of course, Hyundai Tucson actually is the #1 selling SUV from Hyundai, and it is also the similar case for Kia Sportage as well. That being said, I could not miss the opportunity to give you and show you the side-by-side comparison of the car. And I also have parked Tucson at an angle, as you can see, because the Sportage is aligned them right next to one another. I mean, having the car parked right next to one another, I can immediately sense that they are the brother-sister cars after all. They are very similar in size, and there are immediate differences that I can pinpoint right now. But before I jump into too much detail, if you are curious about each of the car, I have a thorough review of these two cars in my channel, Inside Out. Kia Sportage test drive video is actually my #1 most viewed video on my channel, so feel free to check it out. And thank you very much for your love and support. There is no particular name that Hyundai calls this as, but I just named it like the Angel Wing because it essentially looks like that, which was a bit more obvious, I would say, on a pre-facelift model versus the facelift, because the facelift now gets, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 versus the 5 the pre-facelift used to have. However, I really like this facelifted look over the pre-facelift. There is no single car that has a design language like that of a Tucson's. This truly is uniquely Tucson, and I absolutely love it. When you turn these DRLs off, they go so well together with the front grille that has a dark chrome finish around right here. I will show you the up-close look of it right now. Not only that, this also works as a turn signal, as we all know, compared to the tiny light bulb that we used to have right here on a pre-facelift. It's really big in size, and of course it's super bright as well, being LED and all. A disclaimer, it's not a fair game for this Sportage because, as we know, it's overdue for a facelift. This is the all-new Sportage that we got years ago, but this is the only car that is currently available in the market. Looking at it closely, they definitely have a very diverging design language. That parametric jewel pattern that Hyundai stressed, I don't know if you will agree with me. Each of these composed together, they're kind of a jewels, parametric jewel lighting patterns. And speaking of the parametric design, that is also found on the profile of Tucson, where there is a lot of straight, bold, and rigid lines going all across. And this profile truly is another factor that is uniquely Tucson. Tucson is not a flagship SUV. There is Santa Fe above the Tucson and also even Palisade after that. But that is precisely what Hyundai is kind of showing us, telling us what Tucson means to them and also for the global market. Best-selling cars globally, hence it's no surprise that Hyundai would actually put together best of their ability to give us the quality product. And I really think this is what this Tucson is. Gravity trim with this Sportage, as I can sense from the blacked out wheels. Even the front grills do have the gloss finish. It's only these two portions and top and bottom that are open for the radiator. Neither of these two cars have what's called active air flap, which is abundantly used and found in latest Hyundai Motor Group's EVs, where it will open and close accordingly to the condition to best provide the battery efficiency plus the MPG, the fuel efficiency for internal combustion engines. It helps with the better MPG, NVH, which stands for noise, vibration, and harshness. So it is a one good technology to have. However, we do not see that on Sportage nor Tucson facelift. The radar for your ADAS and HDA. Also, the camera in the front for your 360 view degree cam. But when it comes to the Sportage, you can see this is that distinctive DRL of this Sportage. Anybody would be able to tell just by looking at the DRL that there is a Sportage behind you. This is uniquely Sportage, uniquely Tucson. Both the brands, Kia and Hyundai, they gave it all to the best-selling cars both Sportage and Tucson. As for the ground clearance, I can't really pinpoint how much they differ. I do have measuring tape here, so I will show you momentarily. Entry angle seems to be quite similar to Tucson facelift versus the Sportage. Essentially, what you can get from Tucson is also available on Sportage, gasoline engine hybrid. You see, I don't want to guesstimate here, so I always try to bring you the numbers and facts to best of my ability whenever I have the chance. So let's measure the ground clearance. I will actually measure this plastic portion right here in the middle, 25 centimeters. With the Sportage, I am measuring right underneath the radar as well, 22 to 23. It's not perfectly perfect. Tucson actually sits a little higher than Sportage. It's not accurate down to 10th digit, but I can see that Tucson is a little higher in terms of the ground clearance of the front angle compared to the Sportages. And it could also be the fact that Sportage has something loaded inside, but judging by the suspension, I doubt it. One more thing, I don't have a full access to Sportage here with me today, so for the interior shots and comparison, please refer to my earlier video. And let me show you the rest of the car, including the profile, the side mirrors, and also the rear view. So what is your personal preference and favorite? It really boils down to that, don't you think? The design that you like better, Kia Sportage versus Hyundai Tucson. So this is the wheel that I talked about. It's a 19-inch wheel, seeing it for the first time on this facelift. But just looking at the wheelhouse closely, it really is designed very differently compared to that of the Sportage, which I will show you right here. With the Kia Sportage, you can see it has that circular design, a typical wheelhouse design of any car per se. So you see this Sportage has a body color matched cladding, meaning that it's the gravity trim, highest trim of it all. Tucson does not, but that is because it's not an N line. If you go with an N line, you can also get the cladding that is body color matched to the exterior color paint. I also have a thorough review on that, so feel free to check it out on my channel. Although there are many differences, of course, these two cars being a different car, but this is the distinctive difference I managed to find. That is the side mirrors. If you look at Sportages, it's actually attached on the door, so it's been lowered compared to what Tucson has. Tucson has the side mirrors attached right underneath the A-pillar, so it's not attached on the doors, just like many other cars that are out in the market currently have. So when the side mirrors are lowered and attached to the doors, that gives the extra space to where it was conventionally attached. Extra visibility compared to what Tucson lacks. You could see a cat, dog running around, even little kids and child. So that might be a difference of having an accident or not. Well, that is limited by its original form when it comes to Tucson. So that is definitely a plus when it comes to the Sportage. It's not just these cars, but if you've been watching my channel, you know that I'm a huge fan of having flag type glass right there, the profile. So there is not that many straight lines and character lines used on the Sportage, as we can see. There's just the one line going through from the taillight to the door over there, and a little bit of a straight line starting from the front fender all the way to the second door as well. That's about it for the Sportage. Come check out Tucson. We've already seen this on a pre-facelift model, but this is bold design. Look at that. It hugs all the way around. This Tucson wraps around, and that character line stretches out all the way to the front, and it just stands out far more compared to the design of a Sportage. I'm not saying one's design is superior than the other. It is just that they are very different, so you can see a very diverging design language. Rear design of a Tucson versus the materials and the color combinations used on the rear bumper is quite the same and similar when it comes to Sportage versus Tucson. One of the most distinctive differences is that I am zooming on it. Yes, the taillight, but what's underneath right there. So that is the turn signal Sportage has, and you guys know where to be found. right there. So that's where the turn signal is for a Tucson. And the irony is that Tucson facelift actually has even lowered taillight turn signals. Not by much, but it was located somewhere right there for the pre-facelift, but it's even lower now. And that is DLO, daylight opening. Well, that actually is a term used in Genesis brands, but I can't really come up with a better description than that. Design that wraps around the C quarter glass right here, stretched belt line like that for Sportage, disconnected with the Tucson. So that actually wraps and hugs around the top portion, and that is the separated belt line. And rear wheel design, we see there's a little bit of a design put for Tucson, and that extra winglet like design is actually seen on both Tucson and Sportage. That is not actually for the design, but it's rather to meet the regulations around the world. The extra attachment right there, so it checks boxes for imports and exports around the global sales. Has the spoiler coming down all the way to the rear glass, which wraps around the rear trunk. That actually is the same for Tucson as well. It stretches down all the way to here and wraps, hugs around the car all together. Both of the cars do have the hidden wiper. You can see how far the rear wiper would stretch for Sportage. So it's from there to all the way to there. So this is another change that's been made on the facelift Tucson. There is no parting line for this rear trunk glasses anymore. It is one whole piece. So that way, Hyundai could extend the rear wiper length. It actually stretches down to all the way to here. Wiper goes down to about that much. And I've tested out myself. And this is another difference I am zooming on right now. There is only one camera, reverse camera for the Sportage, whereas there are two for Tucson. One is for the reverse cam, another is for onboard camera 2.0 that this Tucson facelift has gotten. So that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe Cars in Korea if you did. So there are more videos on Tucson facelift, including the exterior, interior, and POV test drive. Also review with my wife Dima in Korean as well, so please feel free to check that video out, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. So what is your personal favorite, Hyundai Tucson or Kia Sportage?